Good afternoon. How's it going, everyone? Hope you've been doing well. If you're new here, hi, I'm Miles. I do music stuff. And today is going to be one of those sort of news update episodes I've been doing recently because there's a lot of things that have been going on and that are going to be going on. But first, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It's free. Help a brother out. First up on our list is the Fender Standard series they recently released. From what I've seen, they're a 4-piece construction body, made in Indonesia, and I mean they're basically Squires but with a Fender logo on the headstock. I believe they're $600, which financially I'm cool with, but I don't know, it just seems like the Standard being at that level, it's setting a very low standard. And it seems like there's a number of people that are upset about this being the case. For me personally, it just seems like it's making it easier for everyone to have access to getting their hands on a Strato or Telecaster that doesn't say Squire on the headstock. And for me, when it comes to guitars, as a lefty, what it comes down to for me is not what it says on the top of the guitar in terms of the brand name. It's more about whether or not the instrument sounds good when you play it. For example, this guitar's a Squire. Sure, it says Fender on the headstock, but you can just buy a Fender neck. It'll fit in the same slot, and before you know it, you have yourself a Fender Strat. And eventually it comes down to the paradox of the ship of Theseus, where it's like, if you change all the floorboards on your boat, is it still the same boat with replacement parts, or is it a new boat now? And again, for me, I don't care. I'm very much in favor of just making instruments that play well, that people can afford to buy. But to all my guitarists out there that are watching, what do you think? Up next, let's go over some of the highlights of the Grammys this year. As someone who normally doesn't watch the Grammys because it's incredibly biased and opinionated in all the most negative ways, I was incredibly surprised with the results that came out of this year's Grammys. Obviously, artists like Billie Eilish and Sabrina Carpenter walked away with awards from the Grammys. Sabrina was having an incredible 2024. I was talking to someone recently about Sabrina Carpenter, and they referred to her as a new artist, which is funny because she's been around for a very long time. It's just that everything that she's put out up to this point, I think stylistically, has been in a different box. It went from being like the young Disney kid to being like promiscuous, whatever you want to call it. And that end of the spectrum seems to be the one that really caught the most traction. And with Billie Eilish, while I wasn't totally impressed with her most recent record, Hit Me Hard and Soft, I'm not surprised that she walked away with some recognition. And while I have a theory as to why I don't need to be surprised about Beyonce getting a Grammy, I'm definitely sincerely surprised about Kendrick Lamar. See, the Grammys does this thing every year where like there will be an artist that has an undeniable song of the summer or that's just been on the charts for a very long time and has been in the social zeitgeist for an extended period of time, perhaps maybe even a year's worth of time. But if they're not an artist that the Grammys want to acknowledge, they just pretend they don't exist. And that's part of the reason why I kind of like stopped watching the Grammys or even caring about the results of them, because it was biased for a long time.
You think I give a damn about a Grammy? Half of you critics can't even stomach me, let alone stand me. But Slim, what if you win? Wouldn't it be weird? Why? So you guys can just lie to get me here?
But when it came to Kendrick Lamar's song Not Like Us, they could deny no longer. And as a diss track, to have the diss track win a Grammy, I don't know, like what's Drake doing? Is he okay? I'm glad he's Canadian, at least he's got free healthcare, but like, is he good? Up next, let's talk about the new record from the Weeknd, Hurry Up Tomorrow. It's been a long time coming for this record to come out, and there was even the release of a single that's not on this record prior to it being released that I did my best to try to do a review of, but Universal Music Group, I believe, managed to ruin the video. I had to like cut out stuff and fast forward through it, but it was a fun song. I liked it, but it's not on the album. Which leads to something that I noticed when it came to the vinyl copy that I have of this record. I had pre-ordered the vinyl when they first announced them, and it just recently arrived at my house. So obviously I wanted to put it on my turntable and give it a play. And as I was listening to it for the first time, I realized that in addition to there being 2 additional songs, which I got an email about because there's been a flood of emails in regards to the Weeknd and all the different variations of the vinyls and everything, but also the track listing order-wise is different with the other established songs, and some of them aren't there. And with that barrage of emails that I've been getting, one of them had announced that there were alternate versions of the album available for download that had different songs. And unlike the vinyl record copy, the track listing stayed the same, but in one case there's an additional song called Closing Night. There's another one with a different song. And what I imagine is likely going to be the case is that eventually the announcement's going to be made of a super deluxe version of the album. One that goes along with this upcoming movie that's coming out. Which, by the way, I had posted on Reddit that I was really excited about this movie and seeing a trailer for it. And like, all of you in Reddit were very rude, okay? Being like, bruh, they announced the movie last year and all this. And it's like, okay, I guess I missed that day of reality last year. Guess I can't be excited anymore. My point being, I don't know, don't be a dick. Try that. It could work out to your benefit. But getting back to the record itself, it feels like with the way they've rolled things out that there's an effort being made to get as much money as you possibly can from the consumers. Really cash in on the fact that this is the last Weeknd record. Like, Abel is not going to do anything musically after this. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that The Weeknd's the only artist guilty of doing that sort of thing. There's evidence to show that Taylor Swift is part of the reason why artists have to wait to get their records pressed to vinyl, because she has like 64 different variations of the same record, different colors, different tracks on different versions of the record. But as a consumer of all this stuff, I find this approach is like really frustrating, because I don't want to buy multiple copies of the same record, except for one difference with it. Like, it's one thing when it comes to vinyl records where like there's certain colors that are only available in limited quantities. Like in that case, I'll try to get that. But the only other copy of the record that I want to have from there then is just a digital copy that I can have on my phone. When it was announced that there was going to be a pre-order for vinyl copies of Dawn FM, I wanted to get it, so I pre-ordered it. And they said it was collector's edition, but truthfully, if there's anything that would look better in my collection of vinyl records, it would be the alternate cover of Dawn FM with the Weeknd on it. Because then it would fit nicely between After Hours and Hurry Up Tomorrow in terms of just the aesthetic. Am I gonna spend the money to get another copy of Dawn FM on vinyl with the cover that I want? Not unless I just suddenly come into some money that I don't need to put towards other things. But yeah, I'll give it some leeway because the record itself is wonderful. I think it's really, really good. And then let's talk about Kanye West being totally, perfectly normal. The truth is that I'm not going to talk about it that much. I feel like it's worth noting to let other people know that like engaging with his crap is not really productive. More than likely, it's him trying to garner attention because he's got some new project on the horizon. But it's like the equivalent of like a little kid having a tantrum, only like the little kid is a racist and a Nazi. A particular point that I find bothersome about all this is this idea that if you tell people that you're autistic, then you have an excuse. Like, oh, well, no wonder he's saying and doing the things that he's doing. He's autistic. As someone with family members with special needs and that are on the autism spectrum, I can assure you, none of them act like Kanye West or Elon Musk. This isn't a difference in terms of mental ability. This is a difference in terms of your moral stature among society. And yeah, you know, it's a bummer to see it because I have records from Kanye West that now feel like World War II memorabilia in my house. And I don't know. I don't know. It gets to a point where you have to like just let go of the artist rather than separate them from the music. And yeah, that's where I'm at. So that's all for Kanye West. And then finally, let's talk about the Super Bowl. I'm very much a sports guy, but in the sense of I'll go to your Super Bowl party for the drinks and food, and when everyone has their random bursts of excitement because someone did something on the TV, I'll go along and shout, "Sports!" so that I fit in with the rest of the group, my fellow sports fans. I'll be honest, I'm not much of a sports guy. I kind of don't care. I think the game of football is kind of ridiculous. Just from a sports game approach. But I'm definitely excited about the halftime show. Simply put, because I don't know what to expect. But if Kendrick Lamar performs Not Like Us on the Super Bowl, this will likely be the last video you see me upload, because I'll have passed away. I don't know if I can survive it. But that's all I got for you guys for today. I hope you found this to be interesting and informative. I'm still working out the kinks with all this stuff and how to present it, so bear with me. But hopefully you liked it, and if you did, be sure to hit that like and that subscribe button, so then you can be here and be notified when I make more episodes like these. And if you like what I'm doing here and you'd like to support more than just liking and subscribing, I'll leave a link down below in the description for my Patreon page where you can check out the perks that are attached to your support over there. Big shout out to my patrons. You guys help make these episodes possible. And that does it for today. I'm going to try to get this edited tonight and out by tomorrow morning because the Super Bowl is tomorrow. And I hope you guys enjoy if you're watching. Or enjoy something else if you're not. Stay safe, keep playing. Peace.